Hey guys, what is up? Just a Tuesday night at 8 o'clock. What better time to talk about basketball? And I found this guy Terrence just on YouTube, man, just like talking Sixers. So I was like, I'll invite you on and we can just hatch the shit, talk Sixers and stuff. So introduce yourself, my guy. And
All
where
right,
can they
yeah,
find you, like on YouTube and everything?
yeah, great. Thanks, Mitch. So my name is Terrence Echols. I'm a basketball player. I play at Marist College. I'm also a podcaster. I have a podcast on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. It's called the Echols Unlimited Podcast, and I talk about a lot of basketball stuff. I do some analysis, have some of my teammates on, and we talk about that type of stuff. And I'm most importantly, I'm a huge Sixers fan. So if you follow me on any social media website, I do spend a lot of time talking about the Sixers and, why they're my favorite team. And, the reason why Mitch had me on today is because I am a huge Ben Simmons supporter. I really like watching him play. I really support him as a man and as a person. And I just think he's misunderstood a lot of the times.
I respect that. Really, I do. Because every person I met on here, like on YouTube or whatever, it's just like, oh, I don't like this guy. I want him gone. Like every person I talk to. So maybe I can hear like the other side of it, maybe learn some new things here and there. And then we could just go on from there.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
yeah. So we got a lot of people in the chat here. We got my guy Big Play Slay. What is up, my guy? We got Football Talk with Benny. What is up? I did a collab with him last night. That was fun. Lucas, shout out to you. And if you guys could kindly, please just subscribe to him. His link is in the description. Follow his Twitter and Instagram, please. So what is your Twitter and Instagram?
Oh, yeah. Oh, thank you. Thank you for plugging that. I appreciate that. So my Instagram and my Twitter, it's the same thing. You can find me TerrenceChols. It's both. It's just my name, Terrence Echols, without the double E in the middle. But yeah, you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and then, like I said earlier, my YouTube is Echols Unlimited Podcast.
There we go. So Lucas is about to subscribe to you. So
Appreciate that, Lucas.
yeah, he's a very cool guy. I talk to him all the time. He's one of the best subscribers I've got. One of the best, and he's coming over to you. So
Awesome. Thank you, man.
that'll be cool. So just subbed, we got another one. Football Talk with Benny. So do you just talk about basketball or do you talk about football and what's
Yeah, I talk a little football. I'm a Jets fan for football. I follow a lot of college football. Most importantly, I'm a really big college football fan. And then I also just talk about other things. I have some friends who do some cool things, so I'll talk to them about that. One of my friends is a professional chef. I just had him on. And then last year, my friend, he's the executive assistant to Jake Paul, so I also had him on as well.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
How?
Yeah.
How?
Yeah. So we went to school together. We went to school together our freshman, sophomore year, and he made videos. He did videos for the football team. He did videos for a bunch of different teams or people like Antonio Brown, a lot of big time football players he made videos for. And Jake Paul liked his stuff, and he brought him on as a video guy, and then he worked for him for a long time, and then eventually became his executive assistant.
Wow. My God. No, he did not have Jake Paul on. He had his assistant on.
Yeah.
And yeah.
His personal assistant, yeah.
That's so cool. Mm-hmm. Like, he was probably at the fight, wasn't he?
Yeah. No, he posts a lot of videos, a lot of pictures with him at the fights, and when they're doing the outlandish stuff that he does for YouTube as well.
That's just incredible. Oh my God. If you could, I gotta have that guy on. If you could.
Right. Well, yeah. No, his name is Marcos. He's a real cool guy.
Awesome. So before we get into Ben Simmons here, tell me about your basketball career.
Yeah. So I play at Marist College. It's a small Division I school located in the Hudson Valley in New York, Poughkeepsie, to be precise. I'm a guard. I'm not very big. I'm like 6'2", so
You're bigger
that's
than
the
me.
only
I'm
position I can
5'5".
play at this level. Like small for a basketball player.
Yeah, I know what you meant. You're still big to me.
Right. Yeah. So, I play guard, and I don't really play a lot. I'm a walk-on, so I don't really do a whole lot when it comes to, the games, but I'm the most supportive guy out there on the bench, and in practice I like to bring the energy. I like to bring the camaraderie to the locker room. So it's a great time. I really enjoy playing, and this was my last year playing, so I'm really excited.
Yeah. What's up, Jordy? Good school, he says. That's very cool. So, how did you become a Sixers fan? So we kind of went over the Unlimited Podcast, what's your YouTube channel about. So how did you become a Sixers fan, and who's your all-time favorite Sixer?
Yeah, so Mitch, you and I were talking a little bit earlier. This picture, I don't know if any of you can see it right behind me. It's a signed. I can actually take it down for you if you want.
Are you sure? I don't want it to rip.
That's fine. This is a signed, authentic. Here's the authentic sticker. A signed Justin Anderson picture back when he played for the Sixers. He is my all-time favorite Sixer. He's my, he's my all-time favorite college basketball player as well. So I've just supported him all throughout his career. And back in 2017, when he was traded to Philadelphia, I think it was March 2017 that he was traded from Dallas to Philadelphia. And, I came over, I followed his career, and I really enjoyed, the Sixers fans. I enjoyed talking to them on Twitter, Instagram. I really enjoyed, how supportive they were for the team, and how, outspoken you guys are. And, I was like, I have to become a part of this. I basically ingrained myself into, being a Sixers fan. And, I've just started my podcast. I do some Sixers content as well. Just not as much as you, Mitch, but, a little bit. But, I really love watching Philly play. I really think that, this is the team that's going to, change the way fans view the NBA.
Yeah, that's very cool. So, actually, Lucas had a question here. He's playing varsity basketball freshman year. You got any tips?
Oh, that's awesome, man. Honestly, if you're playing varsity as a freshman, do whatever you can to get on the court. The earlier you can get on the court, the better. As a freshman, you may have to do some of the dirty work, hustling for loose balls, playing hard on defense, making extra passes for some of the seniors and juniors. And then, like, the more experience you have playing early on, by the time comes you're a junior, senior, you'll have a bigger role on the team. You'll be one of the leaders, and I think that will help you in the long run for sure. Good luck to you.
Yeah, and process this at Sixers fan page on Instagram. So if you're not following him, like Dwight Howard liked his stuff, Matisse Thybulle, all of them liked his stuff on Instagram. So how many points did you average in high school?
So the funny thing is I barely averaged any points in high school. I actually averaged probably 2 or 3 points per game throughout my career in total. And then I actually averaged more assists and rebounds than points. I was the type of guy that, did whatever, the coach needed me to do. I played with some really good players. I don't know if you've heard of Buddy Boeheim. Player at Syracuse. Yeah, he was on my team as well. So, I did whatever I could to, get him shots, get him the ball. And I really played like a Draymond Green type of role in high school. So it really doesn't matter, how many points you average, what your stats look like. It really just matters, how hard you play, what kind of person you are. And, if you have the skills to play at this level, then coaches will recognize that. And they'll definitely take notice, and they'll put you right in good positions.
So Big Play Slay wants to know, is that a flag of Nigeria in the background behind you?
Yes, sir. Yeah. No, I'm 60% Nigerian, so I have to represent the country.
There you go. I respect that. And he actually lives in Syracuse right now. So
that's awesome. We're in Syracuse.
Yeah, we're in Syracuse, Slay.
Yeah, I'm from Fayetteville, so I'm sure he probably has heard of that before.
Yeah, he said it looks nice.
Thank you.
Yeah. So let's just get right into this because that's what everyone's here for. So let's just go out with this one. What do you like and dislike about Ben Simmons?
Okay. So the number one thing that I like about Ben Simmons is the fact that he's true to himself. You know, he understands what he's good at, he understands what he's not good at, and he doesn't really try to be someone he's not. He's not. So I think he's one of the best passers in the NBA. I think he's the best defender in the NBA. You cannot, tell me otherwise. I think other guys, maybe Giannis, Gobert, some of those guys have an argument, but I think Ben Simmons is the overall best defender in the NBA. What I don't like about him, maybe, well, no, it's not a maybe. It's a definite that and we can all agree on this, is that he needs to improve his aggressiveness. You know, the fact that he doesn't shoot doesn't really mean much to me because of how good he is at other things on the court. But I definitely think that he should push the ball more in transition, especially off defensive rebounds. He should look for outlets and just go, and instead of slowing it down once he gets past half court. And we saw it in the playoffs. Like, he's just not looking at the rim sometimes. And there were a few plays where it was obvious that, it was very apparent that he needs to, look at the rim more and just go dunk on someone. He's 6'10", elite handle, can score at the rim with both hands. He's ambidextrous. So, I really like him, but he definitely needs to improve on his aggressiveness.
Yeah, and actually, sorry to interrupt you, but Slay actually lives south side of Syracuse, and yes, he has heard of Fayetteville.
Okay. Yeah, no, I have some family near the south side, like Valley area, so I think you might know what that is.
Yeah. So as for me, and what I dislike about him the most is not the shooting. No, it's the accountability, because each time he's at the press conference, he goes like, I need to be better. I need to be better. I need to attack the rim. I need to attack the rim. And then he doesn't do it the next game. So I'm like, you're basically lying to us. When you agree on that, isn't that basically a lie? Or he's saying that, but he's not exactly delivering what he said.
Yeah, no, I think there's definitely probably a disconnect between, what he says to the press and what he says to other people versus what he says to himself. Because, we can see what he says to himself. He's telling himself not to go to the rim. He's telling himself, not to look at the basket. He's not doing the things that he needs to do in order to score for him. He's not going to be a pull-up jump shooter. He's not going to be a catch-and-shoot shooter. He's a guy that needs to get downhill, north and south, and score the ball. And, that's something that he struggled with, especially in this playoffs. But, overall as a player, he's averaged close to 15, 16 points a game for his career. So I can't necessarily say that he's, lying to everyone saying that he's not going to go to the rim. I just think there were a few times in the playoffs, especially in 2019, 2018, and then here in 2021. He didn't play in the last playoffs in 2020, but in those three playoffs runs where he's lacked in terms of, his aggressiveness and his ability to score. For sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And another thing I just don't like, I'm sorry, it's the free throw shooting. I mean, during the season, right? He was shooting like 65-70% from the line, correct? He was shooting around there.
Yeah.
But when it came to the playoffs, crunch time, he was choking. And that's why he passed out of that dunk in Game 7. He's scared of the line.
Yeah.
So when you do hack a Ben, it's just like, okay, we gotta go through this again and this again and this again. And then it's just going back to like his career. You said 16 points, right?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like his career has stagnated. That's what I believe. Like, he's not getting any better. He's not getting any slower or worse. He's just right there. And I feel like he's not putting in enough work. And I'm actually going to bring this up right now, actually. So, yeah, I'm actually going to bring up his workout clips from Chris Johnson, the trainer, and I want your opinion on it. I don't know if you've seen them. You probably have. But, see, what do you. Beautiful dunk. We've seen that before. Boom. A half court three. You can see this, right? I'm just making
Yeah,
sure
yeah,
you
yeah.
can see it. Okay,
Yep.
perfect. Like a half court three or whatever. And then I'm like, okay, we've seen you do this in the summer every single year. Every single year in the summer, you can do this. But when it comes to the season, he's not doing it. Like, he is really not doing it. I know this season, like, I think it was like more the beginning and middle of the season. There were a couple making threes that he made, which is good. That is good. But I just feel like he could do more. And what is bothering me the most about that is his mind. Like what you said in your video, I watched it. And it was a very good video. I got to say that. It's a very good video. I
Thank you.
loved it. Yep. And I just got to say, when you said about the interviewer, right? And you were talking about, or the writer, excuse me, and then he needed to work on like interviewing and stuff. In the NBA, people are gonna talk about your flaws, especially in Philly. We're gonna talk about your flaws. We want you to do better, but he is not showing that. So, what do you think about this clip right here?
All right. Well, there's a couple things I want to address. Yeah, you brought up the fact that he has been sort of stagnant throughout his career, and the numbers might show that. But we got to look at the way the 76ers have been constructed throughout his career. His rookie season, it was just him and Joel, and then they had Dario, Covington, JJ, Marco Bellinelli. Who else did they have? TJ McConnell. Some serviceable guys, but none of those guys you can rely on to get you 20 a game. All right, and then you look back in 2019, that playoff or that team where they added Tobias, they added Jimmy, and they had a really good team around them. And I'm not really going to talk much about 2020. The Al Horford experiment, was terrible, as we all know. Josh Richardson
that was so bad. Yeah,
was okay. Tobias had a decent year, but we all saw Tobias Harris take a step forward this year, especially in the regular season, averaging 21, 8, and 3 on 50, 40, 90 almost 50, 40, 90. I think he had like 50, 38, and 88 or something like that. So really close to 50, 40, 90. So I think the fact that, the Sixers have multiple guys outside of Joel now that can get you 20 points a game is, likely the reason why he hasn't necessarily been able to, improve his statistics. He doesn't need to at this point. They got Seth Curry, who can have a great night from any time at any time. Danny Green now, who's gonna hit some shots in games, and so they have better guys surrounding Joel and Ben. So I definitely think like his stats are going to take a hit just because of the type of player he is. He's not very aggressive to begin with. To address the workout videos, we've seen the workout videos before, like you said. We've seen them, back in 2018. We saw him back in 2019. But then we have to think back, 2020. He didn't really have an off season. He got hurt in at the end of the beginning games in the bubble before they got to the playoffs. He got hurt and he missed that whole series, and he was rehabbing the entire time. So I don't think that I don't think it's fair to assess him as a player based on workout clips. It's one thing to work on your game during the off season. A lot of basketball players do. I've seen it firsthand. I've done it firsthand. There are things that I work on in the summer that I will never bring out during the season, mostly because, my coach will yell at me, different types of floaters and finishes and, off balance 3-point shots that, I'll practice, but I'll never actually do in an actual practice or an actual game, for my team. But I definitely think, that he needs to improve on, the things that we see in the workouts. We've seen the points that he can, score. He can shoot. He can shoot the ball. That's a big misconception. People are always like, "Oh, he can't shoot. He can't shoot. He doesn't have the right mechanics or anything." I think his mechanics are decent, not amazing, but decent. We saw in that pull-up three he had in that video that you just showed right before this one. And we've seen it. We saw it against, I think, who were they playing? The Shanghai Sharks, when he first hit the first three, when he was wide open. And then he hit a couple during the season. He shot 3 for 10 from three this season. He took 10 threes and made 3 of them. That's not a terrible percentage. Obviously, if you're looking at his overall career percentage, it's not very good. But shooting 30% from 3 in a season, obviously that's not very big sample size either. So he needs to shoot more of them. It's a mental thing. I've struggled with shooting in the past, and I've seen it, which is, I guess that's why I have a soft spot for, him not being able to, believe in himself enough to shoot it more in games.
Okay. So first things first, what Lucas has said here, Mitch, that second video is so staged. First off, the defender would never play that up on Ben Simmons, and also TF, would the defender go over the screen, and the guy helping him lets him blow by. Now, I kind of agree with that. I agree with that because in the real NBA game, he will never shoot that. So why would the guy go over the screen? You get what I'm getting at?
Yeah.
I would just if I were him, I'll stay back. I would stay back. I'll be like, Ben, oh my God. But yeah, I would just stay back, let the guy shoot. Remember what LeBron did all those, I think it was 2 years ago? LeBron was underneath the basket. That shows disrespect. And he didn't shoot it. It's just getting enough, because we've seen this time and time and time again. This is Joel Embiid's time right now. He's an MVP caliber player. He is.
Yeah.
And we just need more players surrounding him. We need more players surrounding him. Yo, what's good, Echols Uncensored Podcast? What is up? While we're here, please go subscribe to Echols Unlimited Podcast.
Echols Unlimited, yeah.
Please do. His link is in the description. A very nice guy. He knows his stuff when it comes to basketball. I love working with him right now. And hopefully we'll do something again in the future, maybe when the season comes around. But
absolutely.
Yeah, please go sub to him, guys. Please. This guy works very hard, him in basketball in school. He's doing everything possible. So people keep on telling me that Ben Simmons would never work with Joel Embiid. Will never work. And I was like, you know what? I disagree right now. I kept on saying this until I just had enough. Because with Brett Brown, he was having enough, and then he picked Ben Simmons over Brett Brown over Jimmy Butler. Remember that? Jimmy Butler left because of this guy. And Ben Simmons was jealous of Jimmy Butler with the ball. Because when he doesn't have the ball, he's underneath the basket the whole time. He's in a dunker spot. So he's basically 4-on-5. So I'm just okay, maybe it's time. But we waited so long, in the trade talks are going down and down right now. Are so down. We can't even get Damian Lillard, where I saw up here. Where is it? I can't find it. Oh, wait. Where'd it go? Oh, there it is. There it is. Is Ben Simmons going to be traded now, or do we have him not play until we get traded? What do you think? Are we going to just be stuck with them and have him pull a Kawhi Leonard like the Spurs? Or are we going to actually trade him? Because for me, I don't know.
Yeah, so this is difficult. I definitely think that the relationship between him and the organization has been hurt. I didn't want to believe that up until a couple of days ago when all this stuff came out, saying that he was gonna, he wasn't, he was gonna, or that he had requested a trade, but I didn't want to believe that he had requested a trade, and then until I saw that he had posted on social media and he didn't even address it. So if a guy doesn't address it and say, "Oh, this is fake," Joel came out and said it was fake, but I mean, I don't necessarily take his word for what everyone else is saying, considering the fact that he's not Ben Simmons, he's not the Sixers organization, so he doesn't necessarily, he can want to play with Ben all he wants, but at the end of the day, the team is run by Daryl Morey, Elton Brand, those guys. Like, that's just the unfortunate truth. But what was your question again?
My question was, are we going to trade him, or is it going to be like a Kawhi Leonard situation back with the Spurs? Like, he would just sit out because he doesn't want to attend training camp. So what do you think is going to happen?
Yeah, I think so. Daryl Morey is a very strategic guy. He's a very aggressive guy, and I love the fact that he's with the Sixers now. I think I've always admired him as a guy making decisions for a basketball organization, and I don't think he's going to take any type of deal that is going to leave the Sixers as the loser of the trade. So I don't necessarily like like someone brought up the Brogdon trade. Malcolm Brogdon, as much as I love him, he played with Justin Anderson in college at the University of Virginia. So as much as I love Malcolm Brogdon, he's an inferior player to Ben Simmons, and I think that the Sixers should get a guy who is at the same level or exceeds Ben Simmons, such as like a Damian Lillard type player. I liked the Kings offer, or I like a Kings offer as long as it includes De'Aaron Fox. I wanted the Bradley Beal offer, but he's going to stay in Washington, and I liked the Zach LaVine idea until the Bulls started to put together contending team in the playoffs in free agency. I thought that was on the table as well. So, with those three guys, and Damian Lillard doesn't really seem like he's coming anytime soon. With those three guys out of the market, what guys are left? Buddy Hield, Malcolm Brogdon. Okay, I can take a guy like that, a guy who's a tier under Ben Simmons, a borderline all-star type of player, or can be a borderline all-star. But you're gonna have to give up some more stuff with that. I'm thinking like if the Kings were to offer like Halliburton, like he said, or I don't think Bagley would work with Embiid and Tobias Harris. So I really don't want a Bagley.
We have Drummond too, so that's another thing.
Right? Yeah, or Drummond. So I think a Davion Mitchell, Buddy Hield trade plus a pick or two might work. I think a Malcolm Brogdon plus a Karis LeVert might work, but that might be giving up too much with the Pacers. Obviously they can't give up Brogdon and Sabonis. I think that'd be a little bit too much. I think Sabonis would work well with Embiid. Put him at the 4, Embiid at the 5, and then even if they want to go small ball, put Sabonis at the 5. So I definitely think the Sixers should be as aggressive as they can and get the most value back that they can, rather than have them just trade him just to get rid of him. Just have him sit the first 2 months of the season, or have him play the first 2 months of the season and lift his draft stock. Because if he lifts his draft stock and plays well the first few weeks of the season, then the Sixers will get a better deal for him, and he can be quicker to leave.
So Lucas brings up a good point, but a good player. But I just want to bring this up really quick. I'm all for a player that's a tier lower, that's a better fit. I'm all for that because I want someone who can actually shoot the ball from the outside and have Embiid have the whole paint to himself. Like Brogdon would be perfect, even though he won Rookie of the Year over Dario Saric and Joel Embiid. I just had to bring that up. But I'm just saying here, that's what I would like to do, but I don't even think that's going to happen right now because Sacramento Kings denied it. They're out Ben Simmons. Golden State's out. That came out today. So I'm like, there's 2 California teams out of the books right now. There's 2 more. Lakers, they're not going to do that. They have so many age.
Yeah.
They have so many age. They got LeBron. They're not going to do that. The Clippers, I don't see that happening. They have Kawhi. I know he's injured, but it's not going to happen. It's just not.
Right.
So about Fred VanVleet, I don't think they're going to get rid of him because Kawhi Leonard, Kyle Lowry's gone. So I'm like, they're sticking to VanVleet. He's their future right there. He's sticking there. So for me, it's a really tough situation. And I heard you, actually, this was the title of your video, actually. Should the Sixers fans give up on Ben Simmons? Do you think?
Yeah. So the title of my video, you're absolutely correct. The title of my video was "Don't Give Up on Ben Simmons." It was a message to Sixers fans. Don't give up on this guy. If it turns out that the Sixers can't trade him for a guy or get some value back for him, like I do like the VanVleet trade. They're gonna have to throw in some more guys. I saw VanVleet and Siakam in a trade, which is like Siakam doesn't fit with Tobias and Joel, so unfortunately that wouldn't work, even though that would be amazing. I know Joel Embiid and Pascal Siakam are both Cameroonian. So they have that in common, and I know they're close. They have a close bond because of that. But I don't think that Sixers fans should give up on him. I definitely think that he has a lot to offer this team. The Sixers are a top 5 team in the East with him and a top 10 team in the league with him. Without him, they're maybe at a 6, 7, 8 seed.
Without Simmons, you think they're at 6, 7, and 8?
Maybe.
Okay. I'm going to go through the whole thing. Nets, they're 1. Milwaukee, 2. You got Chicago. I'm just naming teams at this point now. Chicago, Knicks, Hawks. Then you got the I'm just naming all the teams here. You got the Pacers, Hornets, Heat. Heat's up there, so that's already 8 right there. So you see them at a 7 or 8 without Ben Simmons, 6 or 7.
7 or 8, yeah, definitely.
I mean, if we get a right trade and if something works out, I could see it's at 5 or 4 or 5, depending on the move. Yeah, the Celtics too. Thank you, Lucas. I forgot about the Celtics.
Right.
So I wanted to actually bring this up. I'm just going to bring it up now, I guess. The Eastern Conference is getting better, and we're just right there. We added Georges Niang. I like him a lot. He can shoot the 3. I love him a lot. We added Drummond. Now, I'm like, with the Drummond thing, I'm all for it as a backup, like a veteran minimum backup. Take it. Take that. Okay.
He's a great backup.
We lost George Hill. That's gone. We don't have a point guard. Like, let's say Simmons is gone. Out of the picture. We don't have a point guard. Tyrese Maxey? Seth Curry?
Shake,
yeah. Shake, to me, he has fallen down. Like, in the beginning of the year, he was my pick for 6th man of the year. He was my pick, and then he fell down. I'm like, what just happened here? He just, fell down. And I'm like, there we go. There goes our bench depth. We don't have our bench depth, right now. Korkmaz? I love Korkmaz. Huge Korkmaz fan. Not going to win. No. So.
Yeah, I'm not a Korkmaz guy at all.
Oh, you're not?
No, for some reason I like the fact that him and Matisse are so close, and I like the fact I really like Matisse. But when I see Korkmaz shoot a 3, I'm just like, maybe. I know he had the game winner against the Trailblazers. That was pretty dope. But other than that, I respect him as a player. He he works hard, he plays hard. So I
agree.
love the fact that he plays for the Sixers. But as just his game, I'm not a huge fan of his game.
Mm-hmm. And Samuel just said, another loyal subscriber of mine, what's up, my guy? Please subscribe to him. His link's in the description. Please do. I like Anunoby and Malik Beasley to the Sixers. Simmons goes to the Timberwolves, and the Timberwolves give stuff to Toronto. I can see that. Don't sleep on Isaiah Joe this year. I'm telling you.
That still doesn't solve the point guard problem, though.
Oh my God.
I never said anything. About him as a man or him as a person. I think he's great. I just am not a huge fan of his game.
Yeah, we re-signed Korkmaz 3 years. I thought that was respectable in my opinion. I could be biased. And Danny Green, 3 years, 2 years, excuse me, 2. Even though I was like, he criticized the fans, and we brought him back. So I'm still like iffy about that. But actually, this just came to my mind. What do you think about his contract, Simmons? Do you think he's overpaid?
Considering the fact that he's a 3-time All-Star, all defensive team, like always in the running for Defensive Player of the Year, he's going to give you 7-8 assists a game. And because of the market, mostly because of the market, I don't think he's overpaid. I think he signed the max rookie extension, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was like 4 years,
180.
180, yeah. I mean, he's getting paid the same as Tobias. So, I mean, I think both of them are equal. I think they both struggled in that last Hawks series. So I think, Philly fans, we just have a bad taste in our mouth about both of them. But I don't, especially considering, the fact that guys are getting, 140 million in their sleep, for just, rebounding and stuff like that. Like, I don't think he's overpaid. I think the Sixers did right by him by giving him the money, straight out of his rookie deal, just to keep him on board, just to, hold on to the hope that, he'll improve and that they'll be able to get over the hump eventually.
Don't worry, Maxey will be MVP next year.
That'd be great.
That would be great, but I don't think so. If I'm the Wizards, I would trade. Okay, if you were the Wizards, why would you trade Beal? No.
Unless he's unhappy.
Yes, I was going to bring that up in a second. But I want to bring up Doc Rivers real quick because agree with me on this. Ben Simmons was being coddled and babied throughout the year. Do you agree? Because with Doc Rivers, keep on saying he doesn't have to shoot, stop worrying about him. He's all good in these other aspects. But when we got eliminated by the Hawks, Doc Rivers goes, okay, he needs to shoot. So where was this all year long? And Ben is just like, all right, everyone he's coached by is his family. His shooting coach is his freaking brother. He can't take criticism. That's another thing I don't like about this guy. He can't take criticism. So I'm like, get out of Philly.
Yeah, because you guys certainly are good at the criticism.
We are. That's basically our stick.
Right.
Look, Allen Iverson, that's my first freaking jersey, man. I'm getting that freaking frame. So I'm telling you, that's how I stand by my Sixers.
Yeah.
And people are making fun of me to this day. I got Knicks fans DMing me. I got Hawks fans DMing me. I got so many fan bases DMing me, laughing at me.
It happens, It happens. There are teams will have embarrassing moments. Players will have embarrassing moments. It's just a part of sports. It's why we love it so much. And it just unfortunately happened to where our Sixers, that they had some embarrassing moments, especially in Game 5 of the Hawks series. And I don't want to put all the blame on Doc Rivers. It's his first year in Philly. He led them to a number 1 seed in a COVID season. So I can't necessarily hate on that. He put Ben Simmons, one of his best players. He did put him on the bench at times. And I definitely think that, coaching is a psychological thing. Coaching is something I'm interested in. It's something I want to maybe pursue as a professional.
Okay.
But yeah, and one thing I've learned is that it's a psychological thing, that you play with your players. And the reason why he said those things, leading up to when the Sixers got eliminated and finally told the truth after they were eliminated, was because, if he's saying these things to Ben Simmons off the court and, in private and in practice, and then I'm assuming he's saying encouraging things to him off the court in private and practice, and then he says something negative to the press, Ben Simmons is going to look at that and think it's going to change his mindset. It's going to change the way he approaches the game. And I think that might negatively affect him overall. So I definitely respect Doc Rivers because of the success that he's had throughout his career as a coach in the NBA. I think he's been great. Not the best. I don't think he's top tier, but he's definitely he's had a great coaching career. A lot of guys, they jump around team to team to team to team. He's done a little bit of jumping recently, but he's really only had 3 legitimate stints as a head coach. And that's something to be said because a lot of head coaches, they'll have 8 to 10 stints before they finally land in a spot and have some success. And he's basically had number 1 caliber success in everywhere he's coached. So I can't knock him for that. He's had great players too as well. So
yeah. Yeah. So the Wizards won't make it anywhere without Beal and Dinwiddie. Well, I've been watching tape on Dinwiddie. He looks good. Like, he's an all-star caliber player. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I think he's one of those borderline guys. I think he's in the Malcolm Brogdon, Buddy Hield tier, like just under the Ben Simmons, tier. Like, I think Ben Simmons, De'Aaron Fox, those guys are on the same tier alongside guys like Zach LaVine. And I think Lonzo Ball might be in the Dinwiddie tier, like borderline all-star. And then
really,
LaMelo will end up.
You have really?
Yeah, I think he's borderline all-star. I really value passing and defense. Well, if you can't tell with me being a Simmons fan, but I really value it.
Yeah, but I would have Lonzo higher than Simmons. I'm not talking about the all-stars. I'm not talking all about that. I'm talking about the overall game. I'm talking about that because if you remember when he went from UCLA to the NBA, that rookie year, his jump shot was funky. It was like this. His jump shot was funky and crap. And then he was working on it right now. His three-point percentage, I think it's like 35 right now, 40, close to that.
No, so, he's been great. His improvement has been amazing.
Yeah. So I'm like, that's the key. Improvement. Ben Simmons, in my opinion, has not shown any of improvement. Lonzo Ball, improvement. LaMelo, improvement. In my opinion, LaMelo's better than Lonzo. So I could just say that right there. LaMelo's better than Lonzo by far.
I won't fight you on that. Yeah. It's a solid point.
Yeah. So there's one. Actually, what Lucas brought up a second ago. Steph Curry was second best in the Hawks series. Now, if you remember Game 5, Joel Embiid and Steph Curry were the only 2 that scored. That's unacceptable coming from a 4 years, $180 million man. You have 5 points.
2 4-year, $180 men.
Tobias, okay, I'll give you that. I'll give you that. And I said we should keep Tobias. I said that because Tobias had a great season. Yeah, so do I. I like him. He had the best season in his career under Doc. So I love that. Keep Tobias. That's just me. I'll keep Tobias. But I would never forget this, dude. I was watching the game down the shore with my dad and my uncle, or my dad's cousin, whatever you want. And I was just like, I tweeted out. We were up by 20 or 30 at Game 5. And I was like, how is Ben Simmons doing, guys? How is Ben Simmons doing? And I'm like, and I get so much hate. Dude, we're up by 30. Why does it even matter? Dude, we're going to win this thing. Dude, we're going to win. We're going to win. And I'm like, what happened there?
Rough.
What happened there? I
That
freaking
was a
called
really
that.
rough game.
I called that shit. So people were like, I got DMs from them after that. It's like, Mitch, I'm sorry. You know it. I'm a piece of shit. And I'm like, thank you. But I'm just like, man.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know really what to say, about that game. I turned it on. I was checking the score. I remember when I finally got home. I turned it on. Sixers were up 10 with 3 minutes left, 3 minutes or so. Ben missed some free throws. We had some turnovers. Trey Young hit some shots. They got out. Hawks got out in transition. And then, I'm looking at the game and, the Sixers lose. And that was terrible. So I don't know what to say about that game. I don't know who to blame. I don't think I'm going to assign blame to any particular person for that game or the series, to be honest with you, because, everyone struggled at one point. But, yeah.
So for me, it's a collective effort why we lost. It's a collective effort. But if I had to pick three main people, you got Ben Simmons, Doc Rivers, Tobias Harris. Those are the big three, in my opinion, because they did not step up. Tobias did step up in Game 6 and Game 7. He did. He got his shots weren't going in. He was like 8 for 24. Mm-hmm. So, and I just want to commend and applaud Seth Curry because I'm going to bring Lucas's other comment up right now. Because Seth Curry had 30 points. Or something. And his defense is crap. So that proves to me that it's an offensive league. So if you can't put up points.
Right. Definitely. The scoring should be the most valued part of anyone's game. I think that's why Ben Simmons gets so much slander. If you have a guy who's top 10 in two categories in the league, but, he's at the bottom in terms of, the most important category. Obviously, people are going to, take his value and throw it down the drain. So I love Seth Curry. I think he was a great pickup, a great signing. I originally thought he would be a great guy for the bench. Also, keep in mind, Danny Green was hurt that whole entire series. He would have been a great guy to have, especially in those late games. Put him on Trey Young. He'll hit some open shots for you. I thought Matisse, gave us a lot of effort, gave us a lot of work on defense. But, as an offensive player, Matisse is still maturing. He's still getting better. He's still, working on himself. And we saw in the Olympics this year, he took a few strides. He's getting out in transition, scoring more, dunking the basketball, hitting corner threes. Like I like to see, I like the improvements that I've seen from Matisse, but everyone's going to point at the fact that Ben doesn't score and that scoring is the most important part of the game. It is, I agree. And Seth, that's his game. That's what he does. He doesn't do much else really well, but he can score. And I definitely appreciate Seth, and I thought he's a great pickup for the Sixers.
So did I. And Lucas, again, man, I'm loving your comments, man. Keep them up. Seriously. Y'all think that, of course he put up another one. Y'all think that this is partially true. The side you are on of supporting Ben, your reason is how you play as a player personality? Like what?
I don't understand. I think he's saying that I support Ben Simmons because I play like him. I don't play like Ben Simmons. For my team at Marist, I don't. I definitely do shoot a lot. I've changed in terms of who I was in high school. I definitely have become more of a shooter, or off the ball guard and off guard, catch and shoot type of guy. I'm not the same guy that I was in high school, where I mentioned, I was like a Draymond Green back in high school. But, I support Ben Simmons because I appreciate hard work. I appreciate the things that he does that are good. I appreciate every facet of the game. And, not everyone does. People like to watch people love to watch the Warriors because they scored really well. not everyone was watching the Warriors because of how well they played transition defense, or how well they boxed out, or how well, they shared the ball. Well, I guess that's part of the reason why people like watching the Warriors, but it had to do with them scoring. So I definitely like Ben because, I like parts of his game. I like the fact that he's elite at his game and he stays true to himself. And, I like Ben because he's a Sixer. He's our pick. He was our number one pick back in 2016, right? 2016? Yeah, 2016. He was our number one pick. And, no one can take that from us until, he wants out. He apparently wants out now, but I'm going to support him for as long as he's a Sixer. I never turn on my players unless they come out and they say something disrespectful.
So about Danny Green, what he said, did you turn your back on him or not?
No, because I thought that was warranted. Like I didn't necessarily like. I understand Philly fans. Like I've never been to Philly, or never been like in the city of Philly. I think I've flown there once. Flown through the airport once, or I've driven through there as well. And I've been to Philly. I played a basketball tournament there. And, yeah, I forgot. But the hotel we were staying at was right across from KOP.
Oh, okay, mall. Yeah.
The mall. So we were right across from the mall. So I have been to Philly before. Never mind. Yeah, I don't know why Philly fans are like that. I think a lot of fan bases are like that, where they're hard on guys. They give them a hard time. But I've always been on the side of you support the guys that play for your team, and you want them to do their best. And in order to get them the best out of them, you have to treat them well and treat them kindly. So I definitely don't necessarily agree, but I see why people can be harsh on the guys, and I see why Danny Green, got a little frustrated about that.
Yeah, I agree with that. And my man Earl Cole here, he's a huge Brooklyn Nets fan. Can Nets return to the playoffs? Yes. Did they sign Paul Millsap? And they're about to get LaMarcus Aldridge.
Was he joking? I think that's a good one, Earl. I really like that comment.
Yeah, he's a huge wrestling guy myself.
The Nets will return to the playoffs, and
huge. Where is that? Yep. So this is one thing. I know I'm forgetting other stuff. I know that. But if you could pick a realistic trade for Simmons, what would it be? Realistically.
Okay. I can actually give you a couple.
Go for it. All yours.
Yeah. No, and I think one trade that would work, even though we haven't really heard much about it, is Simmons for Davion Mitchell, Buddy Hield, and a Kings first. I would accept that. I would take that because Davion Mitchell gives you a point guard that the Sixers would need in exchange for Ben Simmons, and a thing about Davion Mitchell that I love is that he's a defender. So when you lose Ben Simmons, you're losing a guy who can't shoot, but also you have to keep in mind what you're losing in terms of playmaking and what you're losing in terms of defense. The Sixers get away with a lot. Like Joel Embiid can get away with a lot on the defensive end because he has Ben Simmons out there, hounding guards on the perimeter. So he can take some plays off because he knows he doesn't have to protect the rim because guys aren't going to get in there as easy. So I definitely think that it's going to be a trickle-down effect on defense if Simmons leaves. And having Davion Mitchell out there would be great. And obviously Buddy Hield, he's a shooter, he's a scorer. He'd be a great guy to add. It's just going to be weird. You'll have a bunch of guys who are, in that not star caliber player, but, there's going to be nights where you pick and choose. Like guys like Maxey can have a night, Shake obviously can have a night, Tobias, Danny Green, Seth. Like you have to figure out who's going to have their night on which night. It's a good problem to have, but it's still a problem. So I definitely think the Buddy Hield, Davion Mitchell, or the OG and Van Fleet. I think that is another good package for Ben Simmons. I don't like any of the offers that the Timberwolves can make unless they include both D'Angelo Russell and Anthony Edwards, which I know they are not going to do. And also, if I'm not mistaken, almost 2 years ago, Ben Simmons and Karl Anthony Towns both got suspended games because Ben Simmons put them in a headlock. Like, they're not going to put these two together. I don't think that's a good idea either. So what do you think? What's a good trade for you, Mitch?
Well, I've been thinking about this one a lot. Like, I made a video about this like a couple months back. Simmons for Colin Sexton, Kevin Love. Kevin Love for the bench for a different scenery, right? I know he's off right now, and I know he doesn't want to leave the Cavs, but I feel like that veteran leadership, the shooting ability off the bench is perfect. Colin Sexton, I know. The guy's a baller. He can average 20 to 25 points per game. So I'm like, that's my main one. And to send Ben Simmons to Cleveland is like the best thing on earth for me. Like, seriously. But I'm just like, I had enough. So, yeah, and I'm just trying to think of another one. Like, what do you do, Buddy Hield and Tyrese Halliburton in a pick, maybe?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Halliburton or Mitchell. I'd take either one, but I think they want to keep the backcourt of Halliburton and Fox, which, I respect.
Yeah, you kind of have to at this point. Like, you really kind of have to with that. So, yeah, and there was another. My God, I'm really fumbling the bag right now. But, hey, having fun. I love having you on and showing me a different side of Ben Simmons and some stuff I already knew, but some stuff I didn't. So, I'll take that into accountable. And it's actually kind of funny, too. I got so mad that I stopped making videos on him. I stopped. And I have live streams of this one, another one, and I should call him number 25. Like, that was it. I had enough. I have this shirt
who are you,
here.
Skip Bayless?
Pretty much. So, I have his shirt here until we get traded. Oh, that's gone. But I'm just serious. Oh, got it. Remember how Russell Westbrook was here, and then we dumped popcorn on him? That looked so bad on us. That looks so freaking bad on us, bro. And then my best friend, who doesn't do YouTube, I grew up with this guy, like brothers. He sat in the very same seat, and they actually put glass there, so you can't dump anything now.
Jeez, yeah. See, I know Philly fans are ruthless, man. I don't necessarily agree with everything that you guys do. I'm grateful and glad to be a part of the Sixers fan base, but yeah, I know Philly fans. They are something else. You can't necessarily agree with everything that Philly fans do. So I definitely didn't like the fact that Russell Westbrook was getting popcorn dumped on him on his way out of the court. But I do not love, but I thought it was funny. You probably have seen the meme. I don't know who the man was. He was a Sixers fan. Westbrook.
That finger?
Yeah, the guy is a bigger guy, comes up, gives him the double middle finger. Westbrook goes.
Yep. I saw something about that guy. He's actually a doctor.
No way. See?
He's a freaking doctor.
Yeah.
So he did. I forget where I saw it. I think it was on YouTube or something. And he just still gets questions about the whole thing. It's hysterical. Because how old was that? Like, what, 6 years? 5, 6?
Yeah.
Like,
and then a few years ago, Isaiah Thomas went up into the stands to talk to a fan that was yelling at him because he wanted a Frosty.
And, dude, I would love to have Isaiah Thomas on his team.
He'd be
Honestly,
great.
I would. Great. For the bench.
Ball handler, point guard, scorer off the bench, instant offense.
The only thing is the defense there. We all know he's the worst defense. He's like 5'8", 5'9". So
he'd be a great guy to play with Ben Simmons, honestly.
Oh my God, yeah. I said that like a month ago when he dropped like 81 points in that what was it?
It's the summer league.
No, he wasn't in the summer league. No. It was a Drew league. It was Drew league. So I'm like, dude, Isaiah Thomas, man, please bring this guy back. Please. He's actually working out for the Mavericks.
Right. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, him,
So,
Monte Ellis, and Lance Stevenson.
Monte Ellis. Lance
Monte
Stevenson,
Ellis
I
would
would
have
love
been
to
a
have
great
on this team.
Sixer.
Who?
I said
Monte
Monte Ellis
Ellis?
would have been a great
Yeah,
Sixer.
yeah. And I would love to have Lance Stevenson because of the defense he can shoot. You don't want him?
I don't. No, I'm not.
Really?
I'm not necessarily a fan of him.
They could say
Yeah,
the
I'm
whole
also a
blowing in the ear.
LeBron fan. I was a part of the people in the Sixers fan base who actually thought we had a chance of getting LeBron James to come to Philadelphia back in 2018.
Thank God you bring that up. Thank God you brought that up. Mikal Bridges, do you hate that trade now?
No. So
what?
No. Listen. Hear me out.
Go for it.
I wanted Michael Porter Jr. I think now in retrospect, we all would have loved Michael Porter Jr.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. Yeah.
But I thought Mikal Bridges was. I was like, okay, Mikal Bridges, he's fine. Philly grown, and his mom works for the organization. He's a shooter. He's a defender. Perfect. Bring him in. And then they traded for Zaire Smith.
Yeah.
I remember Brett Brown. He had like a press conference or something the next day. He's like, the big thing we got out of that trade was the Heat 2021 first round pick. That was looked at as very valuable at the time. It was before the Heat got Jimmy Butler. It was before Bam Adebayo broke out of his shell. Tyler Hero broke out of his shell. Before Duncan Robinson was even signed by the Heat. So like the Heat didn't have the group that they had together back then. So it was looked at as very valuable. When you look at what the Sixers did that season in terms of trades, they were very aggressive that year, trading Saric and Covington away to get Jimmy Butler. And then when they traded, they used that Heat 2021 pick to get Tobias Harris. I thought at the moment, I was like, no, they gave away the Heat 2021 pick. But then I'm like, no way. Now they have Tobias Harris. I really like Tobias Harris. I think he fits with Jimmy Butler and Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons. I really like the trade. And Lucas, I know you say Mikal's better than Tobias. I want you to take another look at their stats from last year and then come back to me and tell me. I know Mikal's team had more success, but that's because of other factors. Him having just the perfect roster to take over the West, and also keep in mind the Suns were healthy last year. They're only team in the West that stayed healthy. So
but that's why they here's the thing for Mikal Bridges, right? Who's our small forward? Danny Green, right? Can you imagine if we had Mikal Bridges there instead of Danny Green? Like, believe me, Mikal Bridges, he's one of the best young guys in the game today. And I said it from the beginning. What are the odds that we were going to get LeBron James? What are the freaking odds we would get LeBron James? We all knew that he was going to go to LA. We all knew he was going to go to Lakers, do the Space Jam movie, win a ring. Anthony Davis came later. I knew that was happening based off the storylines and everything. So I'm like, this guy's mom worked for the Sixers, and then you trade him for hope, glimpse hope. And I'm like, dude, he's making us look dirty. He's making us look bad, in my opinion. Yeah. He's making Brett Brown. I don't care about him now. He's gone. He's making everyone look bad. Samuel was also promising, yes. I can go back to like the drafting and how would you grade the Sixers draft within like the process years? So include Markelle Fultz, include all of it.
Okay, starting back in 2016 when they got Simmons, I grade that B+. The next year they took Fultz. I'll grade that a C-. I thought Markelle, he's an NBA player. Like, he's a decent player in the NBA. I just think that, imagine if they had taken like a Jason Tatum or Donovan Mitchell, like what
I'm
that
one of those guys.
Yeah. What that would have done for the organization in the long run. But, hindsight's always 2020. And then 2018, they took Zaire Smith. I didn't like Zaire Smith. I thought he was just an athlete. I didn't think he was going to pan out in the NBA, but I gave him the benefit of the doubt in the moment. I hopefully he gets back on his feet, because you never want to see like a guy fall out of the league so fast. But there were so many other guys on the board that I really liked back then.
Was Buddy Hield that year?
No, Buddy Hield was back in 2016.
Okay.
Yeah, he was a part of that draft. And then I really liked Michael Porter Jr., like I said. I'm trying to think who else was available at the time.
It's kind of hard to think back.
Right.
I can look at their drafting right now and put it up. But
yeah. No,
let me do.
Fine. Yeah.
It's fine.
But
okay.
Imagine if they took Michael Porter Jr. Just imagine. He would have fit great.
Yeah, but the only thing at the time, I would love Michael Porter Jr. I loved him in college. It was his back. And at the time,
it was another injury guy
it was another injury guy.
Yeah.
He fell 15 picks. 15. And I'm like, okay. Mikal Bridges, always one of my guys. I'm a huge Nova fan. So, yeah, basically, Lucas said right here, we traded Mikal for a guy who, he didn't almost die. That's a little too much there. But I'm like, yeah, he got injury prone.
Zaire Smith?
Yeah, I don't know what he's talking about. But, yeah, then he went to Detroit, then he got cut. How do you get cut from Detroit?
Jeremy Grant is their best player. He's made strides as a player.
Dude, we had him.
Yeah.
We had him. Mm-hmm. We had Christian Wood. We had TJ McConnell. We had Robert Covington. We had
Alex Caruso.
Yeah. We had Andrew Bynum.
Yep. He was a flop.
Oh my God!
His last good year was his last year in LA.
Yeah. Here's the funny thing: I have the signed basketball, so Moses Malone is on it. Doug, the coach, Doug Collins is on it. World Be Free is on it. Andrew Bynum is on it. So I'm like, that ball is worthless now. That ball is worthless, but I still got it.
Moses Malone.
It does. It has Moses.
Who's passed on now, really if I'm not mistaken.
I really do. So I just got to ask. He's a huge football guy. Mm-hmm. Who's your favorite football team? I just got to ask you.
Yeah, I'm a Jets fan. I know
right. I forgot. I'm so sorry.
I know a thing or two about the Eagles, though. I love Devontae Smith. I thought that was a great pick for you guys. And then Jalen Hurts is one of my favorite people in all of football, honestly. Jalen Hurts, I'm glad he finally got the official starting QB job.
Oh, Lucas, I forgot all about that. Oh my God, how did I forget about that?
Oh my gosh.
How did I forget about that, man? Look it up. There's so many. Yeah, I'll look it up after, and maybe I'll do a reaction video to it. But yeah, that'd be a good video. Ew, wow. Jackson. I like your team, but Garbo, this guy's a huge football fan. So if you want to talk football, go on his channel. I'm sure he'll DM you or something.
For sure, yeah, DM me, man, for sure.
Yeah, he's one of those. We've got so many football guys that are like so good. So I'll introduce you here. They're really cool guys. And there's just one other thing I forgot here. Go to the process years, right? Let's go back to the process years. Who's your favorite player out of those process years?
Like an actual process player?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, I might, Lucas. I might. I'm thinking about it. I might. I just got to find the video and everything. So.
Was it during the process or after the process?
During.
Okay.
He's a goat, no lie though. Yeah, man.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yep.
I'm gonna have to go with Rob Covington.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like him. Because I remember playing with him in 2K, and being like, this guy's trash, because they made him like a 63 overall or something. And then when I first became a Sixers fan back in 2017, I'm like, this Robert Covington guy's not that bad, And I think you could see the improvement that he's had since he's gotten to the league. So I appreciate Robert Covington, and I love watching him play.
Yeah. So for me, it's a bit of a shocker. Tony Roten.
Ooh, that's another good pick. I
Tony
like
Roten,
him.
man. The guy was a dog. He would attack the rim. He would do it all. I miss Tony Roten, man. I miss that guy.
Handle, lefty. Oh, he was nice. I like him.
Yeah, Sergio Really? Sergio Rodriguez, bro? Or Ersan? Yeah. Ersan, yeah, he was there. Then he came back. Yeah.
Yeah.
Forgot about that.
Yeah. No, I mean Sergio Rodriguez. I don't even know who that was. Next thing, someone's gonna type Raul Neto in the chat. So you're gonna have to ban whoever types Raul Neto.
Yeah, I had to ask you, man. We were it was late. It was during the Brett Brown year, and we were in the playoffs. Raul Neto scored the most points in that game. How bad was that?
That was that in the bubble?
Yeah.
Oh, when they got swept. I'll be honest with you, man. I maybe watched 5 minutes of that series. I knew going into the series what the consequences, what the result was going to be. Simmons was out. I was like, man, Embiid. Something about him didn't really look right in the early games in the bubble, and then I forgot what happened. Something I think we needed like a game winner from. Was it Korkmaz? Did Korkmaz hit a game winner in the bubble before the playoffs?
Mm-hmm.
Someone did.
Yeah, it was Korkmaz.
Yeah, I was like, man, if they need Korkmaz to hit the clutch shots for them, I knew things weren't gonna bode well, especially with the lack of success the Sixers have had against the Celtics in the playoffs. And yeah, I'll be honest with you, man. I didn't watch too. I watched the end. I watched the last game, the end of Game 4. But other than that, I couldn't bring myself to watch that beating.
Yep, I agree with you. I agree, but hey, I stuck through that, and it was actually a time I'll never forget because that's when I came back from YouTube. Because I came back to YouTube because I've been doing YouTube off and on for 6 years. And
oh wow, awesome!
Yeah, so thank you. And there's other content creators that I was watching at that time. I still watch to this day. They're actually good friends of mine. Philly Take with RB. You probably know who that is, right?
I've probably seen him on Twitter.
I'll send you a video of his. And DJ Eastwood, running back Philly.
I'll
send you a video of his as well. But these guys got me back into it because they were just so energetic, so into the Sixers, and they were so real about the team. And I'm like, hey, I did this before. Why not come back now? And I came back during the bubble. I remember my second video I made, or third, I took a broom and I was sweeping, man. I was sweeping the floor. I'm like, that killed. That honestly killed. Mm-hmm. But back in
Lucas just brought up a really good point. All the trades that Ben was discussing, especially the Harden trade and the Kawhi trade.
I was going to bring that up too.
Yeah. If we're looking, we knew the Kawhi trade would have been a rental. So that wouldn't have been great. And then the Harden trade is what gets me. Imagine him and Embiid right now.
You know why they didn't do that? Maxey. They didn't want to give up Maxey.
They were going to have to trade him.
He didn't want to give up Maxey, man.
I don't get that. You give up Maxey, and then you give up Maxey, Ben, and some picks, and you have James Harden, Tobias Harris, and Joel Embiid. That's 2 top 10 players. Solid. Tobias Harris can be a number 3 on a championship team. I'm convinced.
He can be a 3 or 4. Yeah, without a doubt, 3 or 4. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. And I made a video talking about that. And I defended Ben Simmons there, even though I was like, I still hated him, but I knew at that time he was like, okay, this is what he does good and everything. And then what really ticked me off about him, you could say the playoffs, but it was the fact of the All-Star break. Like, before the All-Star break, that was when he scored 42 points and had a triple-double against Utah. And then he did that to make it to the All-Star game. And then after that, I felt like he did nothing. Like, he did nothing. And then Tobias, in my opinion, had a better year, in my opinion. So I think
argue that.
Yeah, so I think that Ben Simmons took his spot in the All-Star game. So I'm like, that was another nail right there. And then I'm like, ugh.
Right. Yeah. I was pissed that Tobias wasn't an all-star either. You know, you have the number one team in the East over guys like Giannis. Like the Sixers were above the Bucks, above the Nets at the time. And yeah, Tobias was averaging 21, 8, and 3 on, like I said earlier, almost 50, 40, 90. Like, I don't understand how you don't think that's an all-star. But I mean, yeah, Simmons 42 against Utah was impressive. I thought he was aggressive, you know, with Embiid out. He needed to be. And then, you know, we're wondering in the playoffs, where was that? So
I don't know. Yeah, Korkmaz scored 41 points. Yeah, I remember that.
Oh yeah. That was like last year too. That was 2019.
That was 2 years ago too.
Yeah.
And thank God Lucas brought up Summer League. Because remember Ben Simmons in his summer league before he got injured? Like, he was shooting pull-up. He had this one behind-the-back pass that went off of the defender and it went to the guy for a dunk. And I'm like, dude, this guy is the next big thing.
Yeah.
And then that pass, man, I watched it, like, in my head. Yeah. All right. So we're coming on an hour and 17 minutes. I just want to say thank you for coming on here to talk about Ben Simmons. I learned some stuff. I'm sure you learned some stuff from the chat and myself. So this was fun, man. I'm looking forward to do this again.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You know, I really appreciate you reaching out and checking out my videos, subscribing and all that. You know, I sent you a subscription back.
Yep.
And I thank you for having me on your platform. I really appreciate that. And, you know, it's been great for me too. I really enjoy, you know, having these types of conversations, you know, and you've helped me understand, you know, not all Philly fans are crazy guys that throw popcorn and stick middle fingers up at, players. So, you know, I feel better being a Philadelphia 76ers fan, knowing that there are guys out there like you, Mitch. So I appreciate that.
I appreciate that so much, man. And dude, coming into this, I thought I was going to go red hot, red heavy. I thought I was just going to go like this, that. And I was like, as soon as I sat down in my chair, looked at my jersey, and I'm like, you know what? He's a Sixers fan. Just have a calm, rational talk. And dude, you're at 84 subs now, man.
Yeah, you threw me like 10 subs. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Yeah. And actually, tomorrow, for my podcast, I'm doing me and my good friend Tyler, we have this podcast for Sports Chat. We're going to celebrate my 27th birthday. So,
happy birthday.
Thank you, man. It's actually Saturday. We're doing it tomorrow because he's doing something Saturday. But, yeah, I'm going to have a call in, man. So if you're around, I would love for you to be a part of that. And then we can just talk, have some shit then.
Awesome, man. You know, if I have time, like I said, I'm pretty busy with, you know, basketball and everything. So, you know, I definitely want to collaborate or something like that. Maybe have you on my channel or something like that in the future for sure. But
without a doubt, yeah, I'll be honored. And there was just, God, I'm forgetting this other thing, man. What is wrong with me? Jeez. Yeah, I mean, that's the whole point of YouTube, right? Just helping each other out. I've been like talking to so many YouTubers since I came back. Everyone is so calm to earth, even though I met some people who are dicks and everything. So I'm just like, if I could give you advice, man, go do a lot of live streams, because I've seen guys who started like 3 months ago and that started YouTube 3 months ago are now like 600 and 700 subscribers right now.
Wow.
Because They're just going live. They're asking people for interviews. Like I had Eagles beat writer Chris Franklin on. I had a Bleacher Report writer named Jake Fisher on. So just make yourself known, man. It'll work out in the long run. So that's just another thing. And if you want Jake Fisher, I could probably hook that up for you. Like he's actually a good friend of mine. So reach out to me if you want that, and hopefully I can set that up. Because he's a busy guy. He works for Bleacher Report and everything. Mm-hmm. For example, Bird Gang 31. That's the guy I was talking about, man. Bird Gang 31, JC Eagles Talk, Big Play Slay. Like these guys are killing the game right now, and I'm just like, hey, I'm at a good spot right now, and I'm like, let me help other guys, and then I can go do my own thing.
Right.
So,
yeah.
So I want to thank you for being on. Guys, subscribe to him. Even though we had like 10 people subscribe to this guy already, you guys are amazing. Thank you. Follow him on Twitter and Instagram. And just mention your Twitter and Instagram again. I'll add it later.
Yeah. So my Twitter and Instagram is Terrence Echols. It's TERRENCECHOLS. So it's all one thing. No hyphens or underscores or anything. Please give me a follow on there. Reach out to me in the DMs or whatnot. And I talk about. I don't just talk about sports and stuff like that. I like to talk about other things as well. I try to be a very positive person. I try to keep, a lot of positive vibes around, and I really am into like manifestation and stuff like that. So, what you're doing here, Mitch, is amazing. Shout out to you. I know YouTube is not very hard, not very easy to do for 6 years, man. And once I get to 6 years, hopefully I'll be where you are, man. So I appreciate that.
I just gotta ask right now, how old are you?
I'm 22.
22. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Senior in college. Well, not a senior. I'm a grad student, but yeah.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. Okay, there you go, man. Gotta keep up the grind. That's all what I'll say. So, guys, thank you. Subscribe to him. Subscribe to me down below if you haven't already. And follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Watch my today's video if you haven't already. And, guys, really appreciate you. All right, let's call it. MK out. Peace, guys.